Hello and welcome to the Aquarian's Sunday service. Now, you could do these services on any day of the week. Each day is named after a particular planet or god. The planets are the gods. Earth is a goddess. We have these things in us and around us. Yea, consciousness that exists throughout all of the world. Here we look to advance, evolve, expand our consciousness. The process of individuation, as put forth by Carl Jung, is very much what we seek to do here. If that is through and whatever tools that could help us in that process to be better people is what the Aquarian tries to do. Personally, this didn't come about by some angel from heaven translating in through my ear hole. Rather, it's very practical. I used to enjoy going to church on Sundays mainly. I would go during the week. And I miss things about it like community, people, an answer to isolation, helps with depression, the uplifting, inspiring messages, music, the solemnity. These were a few of my favorite things that I can find nowhere else. So when in my case, I've come to the understanding of the allegory, the metaphors of these religious stories, how that is the hidden esoteric secrets of these stories, and that they're historicized for political purposes and for ways of controlling people. And that is how we're trying to transmutate this phenomena of religion. Many people just want to say, okay, well, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, and then just turn their back. Religion isn't going to disappear. It has a major influence on our whole world ideologies and governmental systems. And we see this today with our unwavering support for the country that we allocate the Bible to, that location. Holy wars, crusades, lots of it because of money and political stuff, but they use the Bible story about God choosing one place and one people over other as a central part of their stories, and then bring that together with apocalyptic end time narratives, and then put together pitting one person as the dark, and then one person as the chosen light, and has to extinguish the dark. Own personal spiritual journey, if you still want to take these Hebrew scriptures forward into the Aquarian. That's what we have to do, is show the allegorical, metaphorical meanings of such stories as Jesus and his disciples. But we have to take a critical approach to it. The sacred texts of the Aquarian are the sacred texts of all the world. Love poems, song lyrics, all inspired, perhaps by love, the Holy Spirit. We very much see the human hand at play in the writing of scriptures throughout all different contexts and cultures. And even I tend to glorify the East, but those religion over there has been used for the same purposes of keeping someone down, by justifying a divine right to rule. And we still see that today. We still see these things today. So really, we promote religious studies, a critical eye. That doesn't mean we go into the land of atheism, toxic nihilism, nothing really matters isms, when in a sense, it's all true. Maybe. But what we do is we exercise our willpower here to create something that can organize people, create community, heal. We're trying to heal trauma, traumatic events that keep us from fully self-individuating. We recognize the need for other human beings to have relationships. I know some of us like to be alone. And I say, like, I want to start community, and then I meet with somebody, just random person, and I can't wait to get away from them. That's not always true. I should look at everybody as a potential Aquarian. See, I didn't want to do membership, say there's a member, because are you alive in the age of Aquarius as we make this transition through our celestial mapping navigation? Yeah, so then you're an Aquarian. But do you adopt the Aquarian motto, which is, I know? It's knowledge. And that's pretty brash to say, oh, we know. And other people just don't know. Yeah, in a sense, we do know that these stories aren't literal and historical, and that they're being used to control you like sheep and cattle, and ultimately kill you, and definitely keep you dumb and scared and divided. How many different denominations do we have in Christianity? But I have to remember not too long ago I was a Christian, thus working in the Catholic Church. And so that's the environment I come out of, so that's what my version of the Aquarian is going to look like. Just because one doesn't buy into the God of the Bible and actually sees him for a horrible construction, doesn't mean that we can't be spiritual anymore. And with the internet and technology, which is a big part of the Aquarian, not turning into a soulless robot, also a big part of the Aquarian. You know, I should put up the sign of the lion with the Aquarian, because the Leo's the opposite sign. That axis is getting highlighted. Then might as well put in the other one, the fixed cross completed, with the other fixed signs of Taurus and Scorpio. Those are like the four sacred foundations of creation. To make it into the Aquarian age that's why in Judaism they hold it up as the Messianic age, the age of the Moshiach. And in this, after they come out of the Kali Yuga, which is Pisces age, I'm pretty sure, they come to the Kali, something better, hopefully. Or not destruction but to have an ideal society. You know, they're critical against, they use it as a criticism by saying, like, oh, this person has this ideal society, and they criticize it as unrealistic. Shout out to Troggy, Soul Trip, Charles. Thank you guys for being here. It's good that we gather in community. The more that we get people together, the more power it has, the more energy. That's why we evoke the gods of ancient times, because lots of people have given their attention and energy to in the ethereal realm that we tap into when we resurrect the gods and the goddesses of our ancestors that got totally lawn mowed manipulated, perverted to be our gods are like Bridget is now Saint Bridget. The goddess of the South Americans, secretly kept alive to the Virgin of Guadalupe, but turning a great goddess of the earth into a very little known about quiet virgin Jewish 14-year-old gets in cultures, putting it together behind this mask, then giving it back to them. Like, here's your religion back. But we put ourselves in all the places of the heroes. And the whole stories are about going crypto into governmental positions and taking over and ruling from behind the scenes and dishonesty and tricking someone's own father blind, stealing the blessing, the birthright from them. Totally immoral. And the whole religion is built upon that. And that is the bedrock, the foundation for Islam as well. But there's also this beautiful, mystical, spiritual part of Muslim Sufism. So Islam, Christianity, Judaism, native religious traditions can be taken into the purifying waters of the Aquarian through logic, intellect, or rational minds. We approach these things. Not materialistically, consciously. Yes, materialistically and naturally, but also, and physically, but metaphysically, supernaturally. There's electromagnetic. What we do is we look to the ancient traditions, mystical teachings to find out the ultimate reality. And this is taught that this happens through a process. It's nothing we can read. It's nothing that can be taught. That's a part of it. But that's not going to get you there. It has to be a full engagement with it. A life path change, perhaps, for some of us. And it's a continual thing. But it's pointing our hearts, or leading with our hearts. And as we prepare to go into Leo season, we're on the part of the journey where we are mothering ourselves, perhaps from the past, licking our wounds, working on feeling anew. Before we were into Cancer season, we were in Gemini, which would be maybe a new way of thinking. Now that we're in Cancer, a new way of feeling as we are in the new part of the year, spring, into summer. Now we get into the summer. It's all about perspective. We couldn't just take the summer. Oh, it's hot. Barely breathe. I live in Florida. And when you're in the desert, the sun isn't always your friend. It's got a wrath rate of intelligence, imagination, willpower, conscious energy, effort. We can change our perspective. And controlling the mind, showing that we are not the mind. There's this common belief today is that, and in a sense, all is mind is one of the first, is the first Hermetic principle out of 7. But it's capital M. Like we all exist in the mind of God. That's a crazy meditation. But for the sake of this talk, our mind, changing that, and using it as a tool, not getting used to it. It could be a trickster, or it could help us to be a magi, a magician, when we control our Mercury. When we bring our Mercury to our Mars, our teacher, student. That's how Jupiter and Mars align. Perspective. Per together with spec. A way of looking at things. Who are we pairing up with in how we look at things? Higher vibration, perspective, eyes. Perhaps I. And not choosing the perspective that sucks. Nihilism, atheism, that doesn't lead to healthy actions because we don't have, that doesn't make up a healthy perspective, consciousness. We want to create the best perspective on life using our imagination. What's the best possible reason for this coming together, us being here, and what we're here to do, and what the future might look like? What's the best possible story we could write? And then we're going to want to jump on that timeline, trust in our power to talk things, to bring things, to think things into existence, manifestation. Which brings me to our teaching part of through numbers and our elements. So, the teaching of Hermeticism is that creation starts from fire at the top, a spark of energy, of inspiration, spirit likened to fire, consciousness, awareness, light, life, fire. It's no reason why our ancestors didn't have special reverence for fire. We should too, because we want to become strong. Spiritually, soulfully, we want to be filled. And through the use of our senses, we incorporate the elements to enhance the experience so that this whole thing might be more meaningful, add to the transformational experience. There is something about shedding skin, washing away an old, and to create a new. Just how we wash our physical bodies, so do we wash our metaphysical bodies, our light bodies, our energetic bodies. Science even tells us we have these things. Science, which is just a material science. So they're only going to get back material results. But there are cases that boggle the mind. There's lots. We tend to think that, I tended to think that when I was younger, I tended to think that scientists, that we knew the answer to everything. The older I got, the more I looked into things, the more I'm like, oh, we don't know nearly a decimal fraction point of most of the stuff I thought we knew about. And there is something beautiful about leaving room for the mystery. We're here to enter into the mysteries. You know, as far about, we're not about secret societies. We see in Freemasonry, there's a whole secret networks and shit's bad. It's just the mafia works in secret too. And not the government, for the safety of, for safety reasons, for government security purposes, they don't let information out and keep so much secrets for our own safety. Oh yeah. Kill yourself for your own safety. Or shut up and do nothing for your own safety. The elements start with creation, how things come into manifestation. First with fire, and then through the air. The two masculine elements. Air relating to thought, communications, speech. I spoke this into existence. A wind flew over the next element, waters. 2 masculine. Now we got our first feminine, water. The waters of the womb of creation and destruction. The sexual waters of life creation. The waters in our body, especially the waters of our sexual primitive nature, and the fluid that goes through our freaking cerebral spinal system, our spinal cord, our nervous system, into our brain, and then finally into earth, the material, physical realm, another feminine element. And that's the last step. Starts off here with fire. So you thought maybe air before fire, like thought before the action. But no, it's the prima spark. And so, in our astrological chart, how creation comes about first starts with fire, but then the next sign is Taurus, the bull, who is earth. So it goes from fire to earth second, not to air second. Fire, earth, air, Gemini twins. So 1, 2, and then it goes back to the masculine, the number 2 as the third sign. And then fire, earth, air, finally water in Cancer. Like that to the third sign. And that's how creation's made. Through that pattern. And it also goes to the seasons as well. Let's talk about fire for spring, earth for summer, air for fall, water for winter. And that's just amazing to me. That also is related to how we get the days of the week. Because the first day of the week, Sunday, we start with the sun as number 1, which works numerologically as well. And then the moon is the second day, and the number 2 is the moon, numerologically. But then we go to Tuesday, which is Mars. Mars is not number 3, and it's not the third furthest away planet from us or the sun. So how does Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, how does this all line up? Well, let us start with the closest planet to us is the moon. And then the moon to Mercury. And then Mercury to Venus, Friday. And then after Venus, we get to the sun, Sunday. And after the sun, we go to Mars, Tuesday. And after we go to Mars, we go to Jupiter, Thursday. And after we go to Jupiter, we go to Saturday. And then after Saturn, goes back to the moon for Monday. There, your friends, is our 7-pointed star. It's a pattern of creation in the days of the week. Sacred geometry. That's a bad 7-point star, but look it up. Who teaches cool stuff like that? Nowhere. At the Aquarian Academy, we teach cool stuff. So let's come together and give thanks for this amazing gift of the internet. But let us also remember to get in touch with ourselves and stay centered. Let's do our sacred ceremony. When I do my sacred ceremony, I button the top button and pop the collar a little bit. Let's bring in light and give thanks for this knowledge, wisdom, life. Get some beautiful freaking crystals. And may they bring in their help to make this ceremony extra special and poignant and transformative for us. Let's give thanks for this earth, our bodies, the material, physical existence. That is, may it be a chalice for the sacred waters to be poured out upon us, to wash us, cleanse us, to restore us. May the waters of Cancer season nourish our soul. As we celebrate the passing over from the Kali Yuga into the Golden Age. Let us go. I'm doing a workshop on astrology, the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of it. And I'll be releasing videos, small ones. Constantly changing is this world. And to be fluid yet solid in a world where nothing is solid. So we have to be spiritually, mindfully, soulfully solid. Oh, I got the moon card. The moon just stepped into Aries today. So that's where it'll be tomorrow as well. So that is a new emotional start, refreshing thing. Although the moon's it's in a waning, it's in a waxing phase. It's getting smaller. So it could be a shedding of an old identity that's not helping us to feel fresh. And in doing that, that'll help us feel renewed, fresh. Cancer season. Get into water. Get nourished by it. Let your old skin shed away in it. And come up with the pearl of wisdom in your mouth, like the salmon of the Celtics, of the Celtics. Let us go to Nature's Whispers, a oracle deck by Angela Hartfield. We reach into the sacred holy of holies, our intuition, where the priestess, the great oracle, is enthroned, who is our very throne. Be gentle with yourself. Very Cancerian energy. Number 33. 33 is a completion. 33 is lovers. 33 is a crowning. A time of new birth and energy is upon you. Cancer season is a new birth. That's what's going on physically. So we could take our perspective and align it with that. We should. If we want to be healthy. This is all about wellness. Mental, spiritual, physical, which I neglect horribly. I need to work on that. A time of new birth and energy is upon you. Draw the lessons you have learned to assist you in moving forward. Notice how you have grown and changed as a result of everything that has transpired. Gather information as you go and be ready for new adventure. All signs are positive for successful outcomes at this time. To get the moon card and to get them in Cancer season, and that moon being Cancer being the home of the moon, maybe we should be paying attention to the moon more. The moon is the masses in an astrological chart, and it's how they all move by emotions. So let us work on controlling our emotions so that we're not trapped in the lunar realm, but that we're able to work in the lunar realm, in the realm of feelings and emotions. What makes a good movie? What makes a good life? To fully live it. And emotions, feelings are a part of that. Some of us neglect that. And it takes some pride sometimes to that needs to be knocked down so that we can let in room for growth in our heart. So that we can let in those feelings, to feel the feelings. And that will add to a more holistic life experience. It has to. So let us find that balance as we enter and we go into this week. Thank you all for being here. We'll end this beautiful ceremony by blowing out the candle. But let the light remain shining within us. Be a reason for hope this week. Be brave of soul. Be strong, courageous in spirit. Signing off.